Hello and welcome to Weekly Centerpoint. I'm Farhan Bukhari in Islamabad. Afghanistan's political future, at least that's the big issue on Pakistan's foreign policy radar, given the events that have taken place there in the past week, a presidential election, somewhat of a controversial outcome. The two top contenders for power, Hamid Karzai and Abdullah, each claiming victory. On Tuesday began the final process of counting votes. What will come out of this process is unclear, but Afghanistan's future relations with Pakistan is the big issue, at least for Islamabad's future interests in the Central Asian country. To discuss that matter further, I'm joined in our Islamabad studios by Lieutenant General retired Talat Masood, and of course in Lahore we are joined by Mr. Khurshid Mahmood Qasuri, the former foreign minister. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. Mr. Qasuri, let me begin with you. On Sunday, in a slightly unusual step, a representative of Mr. Karzai especially spoke out in public about the indispensability of future relations with Pakistan and seeking peace with Pakistan. We are not really at war with Afghanistan, at least not in a formal sense. Why would Mr. Karzai's camp speak out and seek peace with Pakistan?
I don't know why it was put like that, but I can appreciate, of course, it shows the significance of Pakistan to any peace effort in Afghanistan, just as it's equally important that peace in the Pakistan border areas, and now as we see more and more, even inside the country, depends on stability in Afghanistan. So I think he was stating the obvious, perhaps trying to be more dramatic than he needed to be. But perhaps also, there was a feeling that there was a difference of attitude towards Taliban in the earlier days, although I now notice with interest that Mr. Karzai is himself talking of negotiations with Taliban, and there are reports that the Americans have been trying to talk to some elements of Taliban and also to Hikmatyar. So I don't know why he made that comment, but it has a historic baggage.
General Talat Masood, in recent months, we've heard from a number of diplomats, including US diplomats, that part of the improvement in Pakistan's relations with Afghanistan comes from the fact that President Zardari and President Hamid Karzai are on much better terms in a personal sense than Mr. Karzai's earlier relationship with former President Pervez Musharraf. Does that make a difference, a substantial difference to the overall chemistry between these two countries?
Well, I think it definitely helps in improving relations and building confidence. And ever since President Zardari has taken over, I think, as you rightly put it, their chemistry is undoubtedly much better, and they are more at ease with each other than what was the case with President Musharraf. Somehow or the other, they both fell out, and I think they were, in a way, all the time repelling each other. And as you know, they were even not shaking hands with each other.
A relationship which was described by some as a Cold War between President Musharraf and President Hamid Karzai. That was the state of play just over a year ago.
So that obviously was having a very bad effect on the overall relationship. So this time I think there is a greater level of confidence.
But the overall tenor of Pak-Afghan relationships, to what extent can this personal chemistry turn around what has been a tumultuous relationship on many other fronts?
Well, I think only marginally. What is more important is the substantive issues that really determine our relationship. I think firstly there is a lack of confidence between the two countries on various issues. So that needs to be developed. And obviously, you know, once the institutional strength in Afghanistan improves, there is greater level of stability, greater level of confidence in the leadership. You will find that the relations with Pakistan will improve. And the same is the case here. So what happens is that because Afghanistan is so unstable and so vulnerable.
Let me just turn to Mr. Qasuri for a follow-up question before we go to break. Mr. Qasuri, the issue of personal chemistry. You were foreign minister under former President Pervez Musharraf. Where did the break come about between former President Musharraf and President Hamid Karzai? And what inspired that break?
Yes, there were many ups and downs in that relationship. There was a time when President Karzai was effusive in thanking President Musharraf. I was present, for example, just after he was elected for the first time. He thought Pakistan had played a very positive role. The UN agencies complimented Pakistan, and Karzai used to joke that had it not been for refugees in Pakistani camps, his election would not have been that easy. I think the difficulties came about when the intelligence agency in Afghanistan, I mean, I don't wish to go into the ethnicity of the various officers, there was a feeling on our side that some of those people were hangovers from the old Soviet or Russian times. And they used to follow the same policy of blaming Pakistan for everything.
So the blame game began at that point. Mr. Kasuri, we have to take a break right now. We'll be back in a moment. We continue our discussion on the present state and future outlook of Pak-Afghan relations, especially after the conclusion of Afghan elections in the past week. Do stay with us.